He says, I'm cutting Mr. Wilson's hair tomorrow. You come on by and we'll go to dinner. He said,
Oh, that's
he gonna
funny.
give me $100 tip.
That's funny. That is
Oh
funny.
yeah, I mean this was long before I didn't even know Willie Wilson.
Uh-huh.
This
Yeah.
guy said, "Yeah," he says, I can hardly wait to cut his hair."
Well, one time, Congressman, I came in the church where he was doing his thing, and I was, MC, and I got there a little early, and he has that music show.
Yeah,
But the one thing I heard him telling some of the musicians, no, that's E sharp, E flat. I said, but this man knows this stuff. He he's,
let me tell you, I went to Kansas City with Dr. Wilson one time on a bus. We took a busload of us, and of course we had to have breakfast because he was speaking at 8:30. And he found a McDonald's restaurant and got them to open up at 6:00 so we could have breakfast before going to this 8:30 appointment. So he's quite consistent with the stuff that he does. I mean, it's not phony Baroni.
no,
I mean,
no, he knows.
he sticks to what he does. So it's been great to see that. But it's really been good, though, to see that the equipment is coming online. I think the mayor of the city of Chicago has been quite forceful in terms of trying to get people to be in compliance with public health protocols. The governor has made some tough decisions that had to be made.
Right.
The idea of closing the schools down for the rest of the year, that's not an easy something to decide. And so people have just been stepping up.
They really have.
All kind of ways. And that's the good part about this. I've got a bill that I'm going to push real hard to try to get passed that would provide a tax credit, $10,000 for a family or person, so that these kids can get computers. If you ain't got no equipment and they have an online education, then you can't even plug in. I mean, so you're just kind of there, like Willie Lump Lump somewhere. You're already behind. You're going to get further behind. So I'm excited about pushing this concept that we got to make broadband and equipment available for low-income families, low-income children, so that they could effectively participate. And I think things like that. And veterans, I've been in touch over at the VA, both VA hospitals.
Good.
Jasper Brown and Hines, they both got new directors. And we're working with them to try and make sure that they have everything that they need to look after the veterans, and that veterans are not left out.
Good.
There have been some instances where people have maintained that if anybody is looked after during this period, that we've got to make sure that no veteran is left behind.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Congressman.
No veteran left behind. So I think the mayor is doing some good stuff in terms of acquiring these hotel spaces that can be used for people who are homeless and people who have to be quarantined, and for veterans and others who are just simply homeless.
Yeah.
So it's looking up. but we still got a long way to go.
I think. Well,
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but you've always taken care of that. You've always been on the right side of these issues, and I'm just happy that we have you there to look after these vets and everybody else for that matter. Because Congressman, you've always hung in there and done the right thing. What?
Well, it is so unfortunate that this money, all of it, is already promised and gone for small businesses. And I have not come into contact with a single black small business yet.
Wow.
That say they got in there.
Is that right?
I've come in contact with people saying they didn't get in it. That they were turned down, or they haven't heard from their application, and all the money is gone. And of course, we're going to have another package, but we're trying to make sure that there are enough safeguards to make sure that some of that money gets to the guy who owned the barbershop.
Right.
Or the guy who was driving a taxi cab and he made no money in 2 months. And how's he or she going to live? And so even though we have all of these restrictions and recommendations in the bill, yet somehow or another the banks and the people who had control of the money let it out to the big end of what is called the small business, and the little guys don't seem to have gotten very much. So that fight has to go on, and we're going to continue with it to try and see if we can make sure that that money gets to those individuals who need it the most.
I know you will do that. We are so pleased to have the Honorable Congressman Danny K. Davis, Congressional District, the 7th Congressional District. And, of course, you can call him. You can talk to him right now if you'd like, 312-374-8130. And let's take a caller. Pam. Pam, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Cliff.
Hi, Pam. How you doing? Good.
I'm well overall, Cliff.
Good.
Dealing with COVID-19. Hello to you, Congressman Davis. How are you?
I am wonderful, and how are you doing?
Good. Congressman Davis, first I wanted to say thank you all for standing up for the working class families in the fight to get the not only phase 1 of this relief, but much more that's needed to not only the business people but the working class families and military families. So quickly, Congressman Davis, my concern is when you talk about people being able to pay rent or staying in their homes, I'm also concerned about the predatory financial institutions, such as the payday loan companies, the payday lenders, as well as these title loan companies. And we know, Congressman Davis, that these companies are usually positioned in poor working class communities, but also near our military bases. And I just haven't heard much by way of somebody doing something to set a moratorium, or we know that they will repossess your vehicle, or they will charge exorbitant fees, interest rates on the loans, the payday check loans. So I would just hopefully that there is some legislation to address that, or that could be looked into. And then my other recommendation, I thought about with our education of our children, and many cities saying that schools will be out for the year. And I remember this legislation you were involved with, Congressman Davis. We had the addition of these digital signals, these digital stations with ABC, CBS, and NBC, some of the major broadcast companies. And I just don't see why it's a national emergency. And Cliff, I don't understand why these digital stations couldn't be dedicated to helping provide some type of curriculum to our children. Because we do know that they, tap right into, your actual broadcasting system, and this is a national emergency. And, every day we have to be burdened with watching Trump, and we have to fight through that. So I'd like to see the digital stations being used to help provide some type of educational system to our children.
Pam, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
and we've got to try and be as creative as we can possibly be to make sure that our children are not totally shut out, as we're not able to go with schooling the way we are accustomed to doing it. And I certainly will help promote and push that. I also want to comment on your comments about payday loans. I keep on my desk a payday loan experience that a lady had. She came to me. She borrowed $850, and when she was going to get finished paying it off, she will have paid $1,950.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what it is. It's scandalous. It's unbelievable. And I asked her, I said, well, why did you sign? Why did you? She said, that was the only alternative that I saw at the moment. I knew it was ridiculous. I knew it didn't make any sense. And so we would love to just outlaw totally these outfits from being able to do business with these rates that they charge, which is no less than highway robbery.
Yeah.
And they prey on military families. So I guess with the with the COVID-19, I'm just concerned that there are probably many outstanding debts to these institutions, Congressman Davis, and people were furloughed, laid off, and of course the stay-at-home restrictions. So I could easily see families being caught up in that, and I just haven't heard much from the governor or mayor, and perhaps that was just an oversight. But I could see these institutions just being predatory and taking people's vehicles, as well as charging the interest rates. And the FCC, this is a national emergency, so we need our broadcasting companies and these public airwaves on television to be utilized. And I'll hang up. Congressman Davis.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, Pam, as always.
Financial services. And we'll make absolutely certain that we talk with Maxine and see what can be possibly done to prevent the payday loan folks from operating.
Yeah, that's right. Let's take another call for Congressman Davis. Tommy's with us. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Cliff, how are you today?
Hi, fine. How are you?
I'm great. It's always great to have the opportunity to speak with you, and especially Congressman Davis.
I appreciate, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, do both of you guys do both of you guys remember Ones Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? You remember that?
Yeah.
With Jack Nicholson in it? All right. So it was him playing. He was sane, but he was in the crazy house, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is, Cliff and Congressman, based upon our history of how they've maligned the black community and closed schools, first last hired, first fired. When we begin to look at these things, what on earth made us believe or think that after they go to a microphone and says, oh, by the way, with this COVID-19, more black people are dying than anybody else, after you destroyed communities and made sure to keep us in a certain place, how did anybody believe and think that these loans or all any of this stuff was gonna make its way to us?
Well, I think we knew that more black people were already dying. I mean, this kind of brought it out in sharp relief. And I'm saying to everybody that's dealing with the virus that as we get rid or arrest the virus, we need to reinforce all of those efforts that have been created to try and keep some of the disparities from existing right down the line. If you're already sicker than anybody else, then you're going to die more than anybody else. So that's not really new to me. It may be new, but it ain't new to me. Because I knew that sicker folks will die sooner than those who are not as sick. So what we need to do is use this opportunity to reinforce some strong advocacy and strong efforts to rid ourselves of some of the disparities that already exist and continue to exist. You're right.
So, what's going to happen here, Congressman?
Well, I think as the virus gets arrested, then, when we look at health disparities, for example, we know that we have not had equal access. We know that there have been places where African Americans, even if there was access, didn't have the money. It was necessary to have money to pay for the care. And so trying to equalize things is an ongoing process, and the struggle of trying to make it happen just has to be reinforced. It's ongoing, and we can never give up. We might give out, but we can't give up. And I don't know anything else to do, Cliff, except fight, fight, fight.
And that's what you do all the time. I've known you. We've been in some fights together, Congressman. And at the beginning, it was so funny. You said you were tucked in, had on your face mask and your gloves, and you were ready. All right.
That's the only way to do it. Nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream.
That's good. You're great. I want to thank you so much. We'll be talking again soon, okay?
All right. Thank you. And America's heroes, keep it going. And those are indeed the heroes, our veteran men and women who've given everything that they had to give, and we got to give back to them.
And we thank you for being a part of America's Heroes Group. Thank you so much.